now his limitations, possibilities and its identity has become bigger. His experience of life will become bigger simply because he has become one with the ocean. Now there is nothing called glass of water, there is only ocean. So that is what the kind of union I'm speaking about. Before we understand the purpose of yoga, let us understand the meaning of yoga first, because meaning of yoga is one such thing which is very important to understand today. Why am I saying it? Because today across the world, the way yoga has been understood by people is really not in its full depth and dimension. Either you go to the most of I would say Western countries, or you go to the metro cities in India, majorly people think that yoga means it is some kind of exercise which brings some kind of physical and psychological benefits to some people. So I'm not saying it doesn't bring the physical and psychological benefits to people. The only thing is that it is a very limited understanding of yoga, and I think that is not the ultimate purpose of yoga. When I say yoga, it is something much more than the physical and psychological benefits that you're getting. There are two major reasons why today yoga has been limitedly understood. It's because one is the people who are trying to understand it, and the other segment of people is who are trying to present it to the world, or who are trying to teach it to the world, or who are trying to communicate about it to the world. They have not properly presented it to the world. That is why people have also not understood its immensity and the possibilities that yoga carry in terms of bringing solutions to the world. So the first reason why yoga has been misunderstood by most of the people is because people today, if you observe enough around, have become solace oriented and they are not solution oriented. When I say solace oriented, let's take an example of Coca-Cola. If you look at the Coca-Cola, the way it has grown across the world, the way it is selling today and the way it is being consumed by people is huge. So it's not because it is bringing any kind of solution, but it brings some solace. It brings some kind of quick pleasure and quick relief in people's body. Maybe they have some kind of acidity, or maybe the kind of food that people are eating today. Because of that, it brings or it gives some kind of certain relief for certain period of time. But it is not any kind of solution to the people, but it gives some kind of relief for a certain amount of time. That is why the consumption of Coca-Cola has been increased largely in the world, whereas yoga is not a solace. If you try to do yoga, because immediately it will not produce any kind of result, even if produces some kind of immediate results, but that is not what yoga is about. It is carrying the immense possibilities and the solutions. That also has to be understood and digged enough. So that is one of the main reasons why yoga has been misunderstood today across the world, because people are solace oriented and not solution oriented. Second reason why yoga has been badly misunderstood by people, because the people who are presenting yoga to the world, either they are spiritual leaders or they are yoga gurus or any kind of people who are actually presenting yoga to the world, they have not somewhere communicated it properly to the world. Let's take one of the major examples that happen in India. The biggest revolution which was done in terms of yoga in India was done by Baba Ramdev. Almost 10 years back, when Baba Ramdev presented yoga to India and some other parts of the world as well, the major communication to the people about yoga was that it brings health and well-being to the people. It brings some kind of psychological comfort and peace of mind. And it really brought, I think there are thousands and thousands of people who really cured their ailments just by yoga. And it has happened many times in, I would say, the presentations of Baba Ramdev which are there. He quite often explains about how people have relieved from their ailments. But if you see, this is also a very limited understanding of the yoga. Either it is psychological or it is physical. That is not the real purpose of yoga. That is not the real meaning of yoga. Yes, there are the side advantages and which are happening, and it is really bringing value to people, and it's great. The main purpose of making this video is to understand what really yoga is, what kinds of possibilities and solutions that it carries within itself. Not just the physical and psychological aspects of it, but the deeper dimensions of it as well. So let us understand what yoga is. When we say the word yoga, the word literally means union. Union means experience. Experiencing oneness with something is called union. Now if I just speak these words, maybe you will not get what I'm trying to speak. So we'll just take a practical example based upon which you would be able to understand what I'm trying to say. Let's say there is an ocean. So ocean has its own identity, ocean has its own limitations, ocean has its own possibilities. Ocean has its own experience in itself, in the existence, in the universe. But if you take a glass of water out of the ocean, then this glass of water also has its own identity, its own possibilities and its own limitations. So now this is individual, that is individual. Ocean is individual, the glass of water is individual. So does happen with the human system. Today it has been majorly proved that anything which is manifesting on this planet, either it is physical or it is any kind of creature, either it's human or it's tree or it's bird or it's animal, they are fundamentally the manifestation of the same energy. So what is that energy which is manifesting in different forms, giving different identities to the different creatures and giving different experience of life, giving different experience of, I would say, the possibilities and the limitations. So let's say it's me and there is somebody else. So I have my own body, I have my own mind, I have my own psychological structure, and I have my own experiences of life. Then there is another person. He also has his identities, his limitations, his possibilities and his own experience of life. So at this level of manifestation, either it is physical or it is psychological, people are separate, things are separate, creatures are separate. An animal is different, a man is different, a woman is different, even man to man people are different and they have the different experience and the identity of the life. But now let's get back to the example that I was giving. Now if you have this glass of water and you take this glass of water back into the ocean and it becomes one with the ocean. So now what happens is this glass of water, who has its own limited identity, possibilities and limitations, now it has gone and merged with the ocean. So the glass of water has lost its identity and it has become one with the ocean, means now it doesn't have its own identity, it doesn't have its own possibilities, it doesn't have its own limitations, but now his limitations, possibilities and its identity has become bigger. His experience of life will become bigger simply because he has become one with the ocean. Now there is nothing called glass of water, there is only ocean. So that is what the kind of union I'm speaking about. This union means when we say every physical creature on the planet is manifestation of the same energy, it means when you do yoga, when you transcend the limit of your physical and psychological, which is always limited, which is in a defined boundary, which gives you certain kind of possibilities and limitations, but still it is very minuscule. So if you consciously obliterate the boundary of your individual nature, of your identity, of the physicality and psychology, then you experience oneness with that energy, is called yoga. So now the question comes that how to experience that oneness and that union with everything or with that energy. So many people have these questions about how to get there, how to get to that experience, how to get to that union. For that, there are processes, there are technologies, there are tools which are available with only those kind of people who are really master in yoga. Not the ones who are just teaching some asanas or not the ones who are teaching some pranayams. To make you experience oneness with everything, you need a kind of person who has personally experienced it in his life or her life. He is the only person who knows how it feels, and he should be able to somehow transmit this technology to you people, or communicate it to you people, or give some tools and technologies by which you can use and experience that oneness with everything. So there are three major practices which are done in the name of yoga. The number one is asana, number two is pranayam, and number three is meditation. So what's the difference between asanas and pranayam and meditation and yoga? When I say yoga, yoga is not something that you do. Yoga is something that you experience. You cannot do yoga, you can only experience yoga. To experience yoga, these are the different aspects that you follow to prepare yourself for that experience. So many people trying hard to do meditation, but they're not able to do simply because meditation is not something that you can do just like that. For that, you will have to prepare your body, you will have to prepare your mind, you will have to prepare your life energies to certain level of exuberance so that you can easily become meditative. So that's what we do in asanas, pranayam and meditation. So the number one thing, which is asana. Asana literally means something that you do with your physical body is called asana. Either you are bending forward, or you are bending backward, or you are bending straight, or you are stretching, or you are doing any kind of things with your body is called asana or posture. Why do people generally do asanas or postures? Because it brings certain kind of physical stability in the body and prepares body to the next level of preparation, which is called pranayam. Pranayam generally means that anything that you do with your energy body, or anything that you do with your breath. When I say breath, most of the pranayams you will see today are the kind of activities that you do with your breath. Either it is Kapalbhati, either it is Anulom Vilom, either it is Bhasrika. These are the kind of pranayams that you do in which you play with your breath. So when you play with your breath, you do certain things with your pranic system. When I say pranic system or energy body, there can be a misunderstanding, because for almost 1.5 years I always misunderstood what is this energy body. When I say energy body, it is not something which is biological in nature. It is not something like you eat the food and you take the vitamins and minerals and produce the biological energy in your body. I'm not talking about that. This energy body, I'll just give you a simple example. Let's say I have this phone in which I'm recording this video. So this phone has a physical body which is either made of plastic, or it is made of glass, or it is made of any kind of substance which is used in it. Then there is something called software which is also there in this body, that can be called the brain of this mobile. So there is a physical body, there is a mental body in the human system as well. Similarly, you have this physical body like the mobile has the physical body. Then you have the mental body which is there not just here. Every cell in the human body carries the enormous amount of memories which always comes in permutation and combination and makes you who you are right now. Whatever the hell you do in your life in next moment, simply based upon what memories you have gathered over a period of time. So this is called the software of the system. So mobile has a hardware, it has a software. So does with the human system, it has a hardware, it has a software. But if you look at a mobile, either it has a hardware or it has a software, but if there is no battery in it, if there is no power in it, when I'm saying battery means not the hardware, not the software, I'm talking about the power in it. Without power, without electricity, this mobile would not be able to run. So the same thing I'm speaking about with the human system. Beyond physical and beyond psychological, there is something on prana into the human system without which this body and this mind cannot sustain and cannot function. So I'm talking about that which is called pranic body in the yogic sciences. So anything that you do with your breath, anything that you do with your life energies to make it little exuberance, to make it little rise, that is called kriya, or that is called pranayam. So the one which was asana, the one which was pranayam, why these things are generally done? Because if you prepare your body to a certain level, if you prepare your mind and life energies to a certain level, then you trying to do meditation becomes very easy. So the third thing that we want to understand, what is meditation. Meditation is not something that you do. Meditation is a certain experience which comes to you, that if your body, your mind and your life energies are in certain way of exuberance, you will become meditative. So meditation, there is nothing much to explain. You can simply sit with your eyes closed and you can become meditative. The only problem is so many people out there are trying to do meditation, and I think I often see these questions from so many people, even in my known people. They try to ask this question that I do meditation, but when I try to do meditation, I just try to close my eyes for 15 minutes and see, but my thoughts are still running here and there, and I'm not able to meditate, and I'm not able to experience what these people keep talking about, this union and all that. It will not happen like this. To experience meditativeness, to experience oneness with the energy that I'm talking about, your body, your mind and your energies have to be in certain level of exuberance. Unless you prepare your body, unless you prepare your mind, unless you prepare your life energies, you would not be able to become meditative as long as you're new to the meditation. When I say new, not 1 or 2 days or 3 days, even if you have been doing meditation for 1 to 3 years, you are still new, because meditation is one such kind of possibilities which is so deep that even in one lifetime you cannot explore its full depth and dimension. Many lifetimes of the people have given to understand the deepest core of what's there into the human system. So that's what is the meditation, that's what is that union, that's what is that experience that people are able to do with the help of meditation. So that was the explanation of yoga and its different aspects, its physical aspects, its psychological aspects and its spiritual aspects. So yoga is not any kind of exercise, yoga is not any kind of philosophy, yoga is not any kind of ideology. Yoga is a technology to make your experience beyond your physical and psychological nature, which is limited. So in a way, yoga is a tool to switch from limited to limitless. Yoga is a tool from becoming a small creature on the planet which has its own limitations to merge with something which is larger and experience that greatness, experience that exuberance, experience that aliveness. Because once you come in union with that, then everything about you will change, everything about you will transform. That is the kind of immensity and the possibilities yoga carries within itself. It's not just for bringing physical and psychological well-being. Physical and psychological well-being which is coming from yoga is a very limited and small aspect of the yoga. So you should not always limit yoga only to that extent. Something which you have not even experienced yet should come in your experience. When I say experience, I'm talking to you, you may talk to somebody else, you may read about it, you may write about it, you may listen another video about it, but all these are talks, all these are, I would say, not realities for you so far, unless you personally experience this union, you personally experience this energy. Once you experience it, then what I'm talking to you maybe from last 15 to 20 minutes, it may not be making so much of the sense to you now, but the moment you will experience, you will understand what I'm talking about. So asana is one thing, pranayam is second thing, meditation is third thing, and if all these things happen, then you are in the yoga, you are in that experience, and you are merged with that energy. Even if you sustain it for 10 seconds in 24 hours, it is a big thing. And if you sustain it even more and more and more, it's a great thing. So that is what the real purpose of yoga.